Hello, 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 welcome back to my channel. I'm Samantha Winona. This is Winona Reads. Today I have a 26 book haul right here. I have gotten a few here and there over the last couple months, and so I thought we could dive into some of my recent purchases. So let's go. I might have to do this in two parts because my camera battery is not great and I cannot find the secondary one that I have, or the spare, so bear with me if the lighting changes a little bit. I might have to pick this up after work, but let's try to get some done right now. So a bunch of these are going to be from Amazon, Book Outlet, and Book Depository. I did do a couple of purchases before they are closing, I think this week, maybe in a day or two, so I did pick up a few there, and then I also picked up a few at Barnes & Noble. Let's just get started. The first one that I have here is Strangers in the Night by Heather Webb. So this is a book about Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner, which is right up my alley. Historical fiction. She was the small-town southern beauty transformed into a Hollywood love goddess. He was the legendary crooner whose voice captivated the world. They were Ava Gardner and Frank Sinatra. Separately, they were irresistible. Together, they were an explosive combination. So from what I know of their relationship, I think he left his family for her, and they were just known as the couple who loved hard and fought harder. She kind of ignited like a spark in him, and they were just a couple that everyone talked about. They were a power couple, but I think also a little bit like tumultuous and had their issues that no one could see. So this should be interesting. I do like her as an author, so I'm very excited to read this. The next one is, this was supposed to be my book club pick for the second half of March. April. Oh my gosh. I still have not gotten to this, so apologies to my book club. I am working on it, but this is Natural Beauty Ling Ling Hong. It just sounds so good, and the cover art is awesome. But this says, our narrator produces a sound from the piano no one else can at the conservatory can. She employs a technique she learned from her parents, also talented musicians who fled China in the wake of the Cultural Revolution, but when an accident leaves her parents debilitated, she abandons her future for a job at a high-end beauty and wellness shop in New York City. Interesting. This has to do with some cultural aspects, like how we define beauty in our society now, and I'm just so intrigued by this. I do want to pick this up soon. It was my intent to be reading it finishing it this week, but I have not gotten to it, so I do hope to get to it soon. The one after that, this one I've already gotten through. This is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. This is a perfect rom-com for the summer. I love these. These are like perfect beach reads. So I did start it, the physical copy, and then I picked it up from the library on audiobook. But Hallie had met Julian back in like high school, and there was an almost kiss, something that she remembered for years to come, and she moves back to her hometown and starts a business of like floral arrangements, like gardening, doing people's flowers for their homes. And Julian moves back home to write a historical novel, and they run into each other and their romance rekindles, and it was just very sweet, very summery, and very just light, and a good, you know, a good quick fast read. If it's something that, you know, you're reading a lot of heavier stuff, I would definitely pick this up. I love Tessa Bailey and her writing. And I also believe that her second one is coming out soon. I want to say like I want to say it's early May, but it might be early June. But the second one in the series is coming out shortly. So that's why I wanted to get to that one first. After that, this is one that I picked up from Barnes & Noble when I had a night to myself. And this is Up at the Villa. Now, I've never heard of this author. This was a cover buy for me, and also I just liked the way the book was set up. Like very short pages with very thick writing, and it's only like 200 pages. It is a classic novel from the 20th century. Up at the Villa portrays a wealthy young English woman who finds herself confronted rather brutally by the repercussions of whimsy. On her... oh my goodness, my reading. On the day her older prosperous friend asks her to marry him, Mary decides to postpone her reply a few days, but driving into the hills above Florence alone that evening, she offers a ride to a handsome stranger, and suddenly her life is utterly, irrevocably altered. He's a refugee of war, and he harbors more than one form of passion. Interesting. It says erratic, haunting, and maddeningly suspenseful. That's a tough word. Maddeningly. I don't know, it just sounded good, and I loved the cover. Just feels very vintage and classic-y. So, classic-y, is that a word? Classically. The other one that I picked up on that trip was Disorientation by Elaine. I'm not sure the middle one. Elaine Chow. This is one I've seen all over Bookstagram. Guys, it's only Tuesday and my mind is like this. I don't know what's happening. This is one I've seen all over Bookstagram. I'm melting, you guys. I'm melting. Can I please start over? Okay. Ingrid Yang is a 29-year-old PhD student. She wants to finish her dissertation and never read about Chinesey things again. It's in quotes. But after years of grueling research, all she has to show for her efforts are junk food addiction and stomach pain. When she accidentally stumbles upon a curious note in the Chow archives one afternoon, it looks like her ticket out of academic hell. But Ingrid's in much deeper than she thinks. Her clumsy exploits to unravel a note's message lead to an explosive discovery upending her life and the lives around her. What follows is a roller coaster of mishaps and misadventures from book burnings to over-the-counter drug hallucinations to hot bottom protests. This sounds very good. Wow. I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and it's just one of those that I just have a feeling I'm going to be highlighting a lot. So, the next one I got is Big Swiss by Jen Began. So I actually went to my local indie bookstore, and when I went up to like get a drink, I had this, and I had another book that I was getting, and she's like, hey, you know, we were reading this for our book club, and I was like, yeah, I saw that on Instagram, and she's like, we have one spot open, somebody couldn't make it, they canceled, so if you want to take the spot, it's only $2 more than what the book costs. And I was like, oh. So apparently I'm in a book club in a couple weeks, so I do need to get to this one. That makes me a little nervous. It says Greta lives with her friend Sabine in an ancient Dutch farmhouse in Hudson, New York. It's also close to me. That's funny. The house is unrenovated, uninsulated, and full of bees. Greta spends her days transcribing therapy sessions for a sex coach who calls himself She becomes infatuated with his newest client, a repressed married woman she affectionately refers to as Big Swiss. Greta is fascinated by Big Swiss's refreshing attitude toward trauma. They both have dark histories, but Big Swiss chooses to remain unattached to her suffering, while Greta continues to be tortured by her past. One day, she recognizes her voice in town, and they quickly become enmeshed. Big Swiss is unaware Greta has eavesdropped on her most intimate exchanges. Greta has never been more herself with anyone. Her attraction to Big Swiss overrides her guilt, and she'll do anything to sustain the relationship. Oh my gosh. Interesting. I mean, this cover is something. Wow. That sounds like a ride and a half, and I have to read that in like 2 weeks, so. I have also seen that. I feel like it's one that has been like mentioned on like newer releases that a lot of people are wanting to get to, so wasn't on mine, but when I saw it and saw that they were having a book club, I was like, maybe I should pick it up. I was not expecting to join the book club, but I did. The next one after that I picked up from the same local indie bookstore last week was The School for Good Mothers by Jasmine Chen. This one I've seen circulating a lot, but I haven't seen like a synopsis or anything, and I forget who posted it, but someone did post it recently and say it was like very dark, and that's what I'm here for. So This one is Frida Liu is struggling. She doesn't have a career worthy of her Chinese immigrant parents' sacrifices. She can't persuade her husband Gus to give up his wellness-obsessed younger mistress. Only with Harriet, their cherubic daughter, they're cherubs. Cherubic? Does Frida finally attain the perfection expected of her? Harriet may be all she has, but she is just enough, until Frida has a very bad day. The state has its eyes on mothers like Frida, the ones who check their phones, letting their children get injured on the playground, who let their children walk home alone because of one moment of poor judgment. A host of government officials will now determine if Frida is a candidate for a big brother-like institution that measures the success or failure of a parent's devotion. I did hear this kind of in relation to Handmaid's Tale. So, although I only watched the show, I think I got like a quarter of that book read, and I was like, oh, this is eerie. But I have seen a lot of good things about this, so I am excited to pick this up. I might give it a little bit, but this does sound so interesting. The next two I'm going to do in order. I did get these off of Book Outlet. I had picked up the selected poems of Anne Sexton just because I'm in my whole poetry vibe, and I was like sitting and highlighting, and I'm only on page 17, but I read a little bit at a time. But I haven't read any of her work, so I wanted to read that. And then underneath that was a recommendation, 3 Martini Afternoons at the Ritz. It is a story about the rebellion of Sylvia Plath and Anne Sexton by Gail Crowther. I've never heard of it, but I was like, wow, that sounds, I mean, just the title alone sounds amazing. I don't think I've ever read any of Gail's work, but I am all for it. This is in, yeah, so about Sylvia Plath and Sexton. This says, introduced at a workshop at Boston University, led by the acclaimed and well-known poet Robert Lowell, they form a friendship that would soon evolve into a fierce rivalry colored by jealousy and respect in equal terms. In the years that followed, these two women would not only become iconic figures in literature, but also lead curiously parallel lives, tongue-tie, haunted by mental illness, suicide attempts, self-doubt, and difficult personality relationships. Difficult personal relationships. With weekly Martini meetings at the Ritz to discuss everything from sex to death, their relationships are complex and subversive as their poetry. And that sounds so good. So that's one that I'm like, I hope it like reads well, because that's such an interesting concept, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this book. Anyone. YouTube, Instagram, haven't heard it. But I'm here for it. That sounds awesome. Okay, a couple more, hopefully, before this camera dies. After that, on Book Depository, I picked up the first 2 books of Court of Thorns and Roses, although now I'm seeing that they're 2 different heights, and that's gonna drive me crazy. Cool. But I did start this. I am 50 pages in, so not that much of a head start. And I know that they tried to explain how to say her name. Pharah, I think is how you say it. But she is feeding her family. Her mother passed away. She has 2 sisters and a disabled father, and she is trying to feed her family, keep them alive and sustained. And come to find out, well, she had an inkling of knowledge and guess that she was killing one of the fairies, but she did it anyway, and she is reprimanded for it. They either say to die for your crime, basically, or live in their worlds. So she leaves her family, and that is where I've left off. I have a lot to go through and unfold, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. But I did buy the first 2 books because I've heard such good things. And I actually did own one of like the original copies with like the really ugly covers. I did own the first a long time ago and never got to it, and I gave it to my library, and so now I purchased it again. Next one after that I picked up is Dream On by Angie Hockman. This is a perfect another rom-com for summertime or the beach. I did read her other book, Shipped, and I loved it, so that's why I picked this one up. I figured I could take it on vacation, but honestly I might not even wait that long because vacation's like another month and a half away, and I just love stories like these. But this says, when law grad Cass wakes up after surviving a car accident, she is flooded with memories of a man named Devin. The only problem, Devin, as confirmed by family, friends, and doctors, doesn't exist. Everything about him, from his coffee brown eyes to his slightly crooked angle of his pinky to his high wattage charm, is a figment of her coma-addled imagination. Still, she can't get him out of her head. So when she happens upon the real Devin a year later in Cleveland in a flower shop, she's completely shocked. Even more surprising is that Devin actually believes her story, and despite his protective older brother's doubts, they soon embark on a real-life romance. With her dream man by her side and a new job at a prestigious law firm, her future seems perfect, but fate might have other plans. Doesn't that sound cute? It's interesting enough to keep my attention. I wonder what the twist at the end is, though. But yeah, I love her writing, so I am excited to give that one a try. The other ones I got from Book Outlet, which I am kind of bummed because I didn't realize when I was picking them that they're so short. Like, there's a huge height difference, and I'm just not a fan of like how hard these are to, well, this one's not bad, but usually like the shorter the book, the harder it is to open it up and hold it. It's just me, it's just a pet peeve. But I did get, I believe these are all one series by Christy Woodson Harvey. I don't know what order they go in, so please excuse me. They are the Peachtree Bluff series. So there's The Southern Side of Paradise, Slightly South of Simple, and The Secret to Southern Charm. And I thought these would be good beach reads as well. I haven't read any of her work, but my friend has been like going through her books, so I feel like I should definitely give them a try since we like the same kind of summer reads, summer beachy reads. I don't know where these are located though. Let me see. Is that South Carolina? Where is Peachtree supposed to be? I really don't know. And I also don't know if these are all, I think they're like through the family, maybe sisters. These are all the sister stories. I could be entirely wrong. I'm really not sure. But I thought they were a fun beachy read to bring with me. The one after that I got is Lonely Castle in the Mirror. I have seen this all over Instagram. I have seen so many recommendations saying that it's twisted, but it's so good. And I'm just too excited. I kind of want to start this, and there's another one that I have that I really want to start soon. In a neighborhood in Tokyo, 7 young people wake up to find their bedroom mirrors shining. Placing their palms on the surface, they are pulled through into a wondrous castle where they encounter not only each other but also their taskmaster, a bossy young girl named Wolf Queen. They don't know it yet, but they all have one thing in common: eager to uncover their secrets, the secrets of the castle, while keeping their own. Their time here will not be without glitches. For a start, each day they must leave by 5 o'clock or face a terrifying penalty. They must all hunt for a key they will grant only one wish, and they must tell no one about their experience. Sounds so cool. I haven't read anything like that, so I definitely want to pick that up soon. The other one that I got with that purchase, I got these on Amazon, was I Who Have Never Known Men. And this has been widely talked about too. I might pick this one up soon. It just sounds way too good. It's less than 200 pages, nice and short. It is about an underground imprisonment that 39 women live in this cage. Watched over by guards, these women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and vague recollections of their life before. I mean, I am so into dark stuff, and I feel like this is gonna be just as twisted, so that sounds really good. Definitely not like a summer chill vibe, but you can't have chill all the time, can you? All right, how many more do we have? Just a couple. Oh, just a couple, just a lot. All right, I'm gonna fly through some of these. These are Book Outlet purchases. I have Left Bank, Art, Passion, and the Rebirth of Paris, 1940 to 1950 by Agnes Poirier. And this is literally what the title says, so I don't feel like I need to dive into it, but as always, I'm interested in Paris. Hopefully someday I will travel there. Focus. And yeah, I think they have pictures and stuff in here too. Yes, they do. Ugh, it's just a vibe. The next one, I did pick up a couple of Native American history. I think these are obviously nonfiction. So The Other Slavery is obviously about the Indian enslavement in America by Andre Resendez. Obviously, as you can see, it's won a lot of honors, and it just sounds very important and something that I don't know much about. It says it goes into, there was no abolitionist movement to protect the tens of thousands of natives who were kidnapped and enslaved by the conquistadors. I feel like this is going to be a super important piece that I'm going to feel like every school should have. And then this one is a National Book Award finalist, Native America from 1890 to the Present by David Truer, The Heartbeat of Wounded Knee. So this talks about the Sioux Massacre at Wounded Knee, and again, just something that I feel like I don't know too much about, and I would like to know more Native American history, as I am Native American, and I am starting to sort of pick up more historical things to have on my shelves, since I don't know like familial background. I think those were it, but there were a couple more on Book Outlet that I did want to get, so I will probably go back on in a couple of weeks and see if they're still there. After that is Roman Love by Anita Hughes. And this is another perfect sort of historical fiction, modern fairy tale summer read. This says Amelia Tate is this year's It Girl. She's cast to play Audrey Hepburn's role in the remake of Roman Holiday. She finds her wildest dreams come true. She has a handsome boyfriend, is portraying her idol in a major motion picture, and gets to live in beautiful Rome for the next 2 months. She accidentally discovers a stack of letters written by the real Audrey Hepburn that starts to put life into perspective. Then she meets Philip, a handsome journalist. So it seems she is hiding a little bit of who she is. The actress Amelia, I don't know. This goes into a lot of different things, but I do love her writing. It doesn't have great reviews, but I'm still interested. I'm a big Audrey Hepburn fan. I love just that era. It did sound good. Even just as a quick, like I said, a quick beach read. The one after that I picked up is a poetry collection, Life on Mars by Tracy Smith. This one won the Pulitzer Prize. And again, just in my poetry era, I've been pretty good with finding good ones on Book Outlet, and that one was rated high, so I'm gonna give that a try soon. After that, another beach read, Summer on the Bluffs by Sunny Hostin. I saw this a bunch last year. I think it was written, I want to say. If not, I did see this everywhere for last summer's like summer beach read lists everywhere, like magazines and stuff like that when they post what they're reading. This is another one named Amelia. That's funny. But it takes place in Oaks Bluff, which is Cape Cod. Oak Bluffs. I always say Oaks Bluff. Oak Bluffs in Martha's Vineyard, I want to say. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. A nice summer story. I think it might be multi-generational. That's what I was trying to get out of the back cover. I'm not sure, but it's just a cute vibe. And what better way to spend a Cape Cod vacation than reading a Cape Cod book? You know what I mean? After that is Michelle Gable, The Book of Summer. And this one is based on Nantucket, which we are also going this summer, so I'm excited to get to this one. I also did read, she wrote The Summer I Met Jack. Chef's kiss. I loved it. So I am so excited to get to this. I don't know if I liked her writing simply because it was about JFK. That could have been it, but I am very excited to bring this one along with me for the summer. This one said, for the first time in 4 years, physician Bess visits the compound her great-grandparents built almost a century before. Now she must put aside her complicated memories in order to pack up the house and deal with her mother, a notorious town rabble-rouser who refuses to leave. It's not just memories of her family house Bess must face, but also an old love that might hold new possibilities. Cute. I will let you guys know how this one holds up. I do actually have another one of her books too, I realized, but it's not really a summer read. It's a historical fiction. But yeah, I do highly recommend her other book, The Summer I Met Jack, and I'll let you know how this one stands up to it, because I'm here for repeat authors, you know what I mean? Like the auto buy ones, when you know that something new is coming out and you just like their writing, so you just auto buy. Anyway, this is James Baldwin's Another Country. I have read some of his other stuff before, but I do have a couple on my shelves, like Giovanni's Room I haven't gotten to yet. But this was recommended on Jack Edwards, I think, his YouTube channel, and a lot of the ones that he has read, like his reviews are just so good that they make me want to pick them up. So he highly recommended this. It was a recent read, I think. So I'm going to be giving that one a try. And then the last two books, holy cow, 25 and 26. 25 is The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by, did I already do this one? I don't think I did. I don't remember, so I apologize if I've already hauled this. I don't think I did, but this was the book club pick, or not book club, book of the month for April. So I did pick this one up, and I was going to do it for Adventure April, which I was planning to do the entire month, but as you know, it is hard for your girl to follow a TBR, so this is where we are. But it's a little dance, I actually haven't seen too many reviews on this, so I am interested. I think, I want to say Reagan from Peruse Projects read it, but I don't remember her rating. I think it was well done, but not what she expected. I could be totally wrong, but I do want to pick this up. I actually haven't read any of her other work. I feel like I should, but everyone was talking about it as like a new release, and so I had to pick it up on Book of the Month because the prices, I mean, come on. It's like 400 and what? Over 450 pages, and I think I got it for like $13.99 as an add-on, so pretty dang good. And the last one I picked up is V.E. Schwab, Conjuring of Light. So now I can read the whole trilogy and be prepared for when the new book comes out on my birthday this year. I'm too excited. I did slide into her DMs, and I did try to ask her for, you know, since I just saw her in Saratoga, and I just slid in there and I said, hey, I just saw you, and I just thought maybe you could like pick one person to send an arc to from like each author event, and like maybe the one from Saratoga is me. I don't know, but it'd be cool. But I am excited to get to this trilogy. I love her writing. I didn't realize how much stuff she's written, so I do feel behind now because I've only read like 2 of her series, so I want to get to this one soon. But this one takes a little more like mental, like I need an attention span, and I haven't been there, so we're gonna stick to the rom-coms for now until I can get my mental state back where it normally is. If that'll happen with 3 kids, we'll see. But yes, these are my 26 purchases. My camera's dying, so keep reading, and I will see you soon. Bye.